today, so let's start off with that. Gematria is a numerological system by which Hebrew letters correspond to numbers. This system, developed by practitioners of Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. All right, should I know what gematria is? It involves reading words and sentences as numbers, assigning numerical instead of phonetic value to each letter of the Hebrew alphabet. When read as numbers, they can be compared and contrasted with other words or phrases. All right, so we're gonna need this for this Michael Jackson video. All right, so first thing first, Michael Jackson is connected to the moon. Right. So that makes Michael Jackson magnetic. All right. His initials is we know him as MJ, right? But his middle initial, his name is Michael Joseph Jackson. So it's MJJ. Right? M being the 13th letter, J being the 10th, and the other J being the 10th. You add it all up, you get 33. All right. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. It's MJJ. All right. You add it all up, you get 33. Both of these are magnetic figures. All right. The symbolism. They represent the moon. All right. And magnetism. All right. So usually when they got somebody representing the moon, a huge star like this, there's an opposing force which will represent the sun, the sun being electric. All right, so that would be Prince. All right, and now LeBron James is the opposer, Michael Jordan. All right, so even Michael Jackson on his Neverland Ranch, he had this, and the DreamWorks stole it. Right, the little boy sitting on the moon. This is his logo, Michael Jackson logo. You can see right here, yeah. On the Neverland Ranch, right? Neverland is connected to Peter Pan. We're gonna talk about Peter Pan too a little later. But yeah, I wanted to show y'all this, Michael Jackson connected to the moon. And I just watched the documentary. I watched a few documentaries on Michael Jackson and his death, his life and his death. Michael Jackson was a devout Jehovah Witness. And becoming a huge superstar like he did, and being a young man, he was like 6 or 7 years old when he first got started, right? So Michael Jackson was working from 7 to when he died at 50 years old, right? And he ended up having to lie about his age, so he's a little bit older than what I think they said. I don't know if he ever cleared that up or fixed that up, but yeah, Michael Jackson from 7 to 50, he was working. All right, so like you said, he didn't never really have a childhood, but he didn't have a childhood. Most of it was because he was Jehovah Witness. They didn't get to celebrate Christmas or birthdays or nothing like that. And a lot of his problems lie with his religion because a lot of these young girls was coming after him. You know what I'm saying? Trying to rip his clothes off and just screaming in his ear. So Michael Jackson, after a certain point, started to associate women with kind of like annoyance, violence. You know, I mean, we all kind of want it, but when you got it and it's here, and you're a young boy, you got all these girls running up, yelling at you and screaming at you at the top of their lungs, and they're trying to rip your clothes off. It turned into, in his mind, his young mind, it turned into a negative, right? And his father used to take him to on the road, like at 6, 7 years old, trying to get him noticed. You know what I'm saying? Try to get him a record deal so they would be playing in strip clubs and stuff, and older bars. And he was a showman, so he'd be singing to the ladies, like putting on a show. But when it came to actually having sex, his father and his older brothers, they was getting a lot of play. So, they was getting action, And Michael would be in. I'm not saying with his father, but with his brothers, Michael would be in the room. So at a young age, he was just turned off from sex, and I believe this is just my theory. I believe Michael Jackson died a virgin. I don't think he never had sex. He just was turned off of it from a young age. I think Michael Jackson became asexual and never, I don't think he was gay. I just think he was just turned off from sex. And then his religion, he got alone in a room with a couple girls, that his brothers tried to hook him up with. And one time his mother tried to hook him up. And when it was time to make a move, Michael Jackson would grab the watchtower because he's a Jehovah's Witness. He'd grab the watchtower and start, reading Bible scriptures to the young lady and asking her, do she believe in the devil and all this stuff. So, Michael Jackson, his psyche was kind of split. All right. And so that's why he was kind of not kind of he was weird. He was weird, bro. So let's get into it, man. Because at the end of his life, well, not even at the end of his life. In 1984, Michael Jackson's hair caught fire in a Pepsi commercial. And this is where they say the drugs came in to play at. And Michael Jackson started using, basically prescription drugs, stuff that you get from the doctor. Right? He wasn't buying dope off the streets and shit like that. But, he was, I guess he became addicted to prescription drugs. Now, this is Rite Aid, right? Now, they could have spelled it right, like RIGHT. But no, they chose to spell it this way. It's just not by accident, right? This is right short for ritual, right? So they are aiding you in a ritual, all right? So this is another thing Michael Jackson had to deal with, especially with his, his fragile psyche already from being the breadwinner of the family, basically. And then on top of that, when the drugs came involved, it just kind of really got bad. All right. So, I mean, it really weird is the word. All right. So, yeah, Rite Aid. They could have spelled it right, but they chose to spell it like this. They do none of this stuff by accident, right? This is right short for ritual. They're aiding you in a ritual. All right. If you take a look at this word right here, pharmacy. All right. Let's go to the Bible. The word pharmakeia in the Bible has a meaning, right? And it's for sorcery and the magical arts. They're aiding you in a ritual. All right. And if you go to the hospital, it's probably gonna be a red cross on that joker. All right. This was the Knights of Templar. It's all goes. It's all gonna circle back around to religion, right? And basically the Catholic Church. I know I've been going hard on the Catholic Church, but it is what it is, man. All right, yeah. So the word pharmakeia, which we get the word pharmacy from, you know, comes from is got connections to sorcery and magical arts. Often found in connection with the idolatry and fostered by it. Right, you can look up Galatians 5:20 if you want to know more. All right, so and Michael Jackson, he wore the top hat like the magician, the white glove. We gonna get into that hat too. You know what I'm saying? The black hat, right? I'm gonna just read this right quick. I got this up here. All right, this is the black cube. We was talking about the fez the other day, and we get a fez when you graduate from high school or graduate from college. They give you a fez. Like I said, they'll give you at least 12 degrees in Freemasonry, right? Some of us have our birthrights to be Freemasons, right? Like if your birthday equal out to 33 or your name equal out to 33, you automatically a Freemason. You don't even got to go through all the rites and rituals. Right, but they give us 12 degrees. Boom, they give us the black cube. We put it on our hat. It got the tassel too, just like the fez. The black cube in Mecca, and the occult is called the hypercube. It represents mind control. That's why the TV is black and cube shaped. The graduation hat is a black cube, etc. all mind control. When Muslims walk around, it rings. All right, it in rings. It is a representation of Saturn's rings. Saturn, Satanism. That is what you are giving your energy to. Same with Christianity. The cross, when unfolded, or when folded up, folds into a cube. More mind control. Same with all the other religion, all based in Satanism and created by the dark occult. Like I said, well, you got two temples, right? In the Bible, they always talk about the two temples: the one that didn't get built by David, and the one that got built by Solomon, King Solomon, two kings building a temple. But you got two temples on the side of your head, and then in the middle of sits the pineal gland. That's the seat of the soul, right? And this is all, like I said, a battle for the soul. We got them Apple Vision Pros out now that you put on your eyes. Them two eyes lead right to make a pyramid to the third eye. Right. So I'm just trying to kill a little time before we go into the Michael Jackson super hard, right? So yeah, and this black cube, we're basically the Earth is Saturn, right? In the middle of the Earth sits. We gonna get into that. It's a 33-mile black cube. Like I said, the MJJ, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Michael Joseph Jackson, 33. There's a magnetic cube. You could check your compass. It's gonna point to this. It's pointing to this strong magnetic cube. All right, and this is why they wear white and walk around the black cube. They represent the white that the people are wearing represent the stars in the sky, right? Circling around the black cube. But they'll never tell you that. All right. We could go deeper in that later. Uh Before we get out here. This Los Angeles Clippers logo. I found the logo, right? There go the old logo, the new logo. This is a boat. Right. And the boat's coming right directly at you. Right. So that made me automatically think about this boat that was coming right directly at us in the movie Leave the World Behind. So I just wanted to point that out. Something's going on with more than likely maritime admiralty law. All right. And this was an oil rig too, so dealing with the money. We was talking about the number 153 too. So, and I said how that number came out in the State of the Union, right? And I was watching this dude named Destiny and a lady named is Candace Owens. They had a debate. I watched that today at work. So they brought up this lady, E. Jean Carroll, right? And I thought her name was Jean E. Carroll, right? Let me tell you why that's important. Jean E. Carroll would be J being the 10th letter, E being the fifth letter, and then C being the third letter. So that would be 153. But they mixed it up and turned it around on us. So I'm gonna leave it alone because it's technically not one. This is the lady who sued Trump. They said they were supposed to give her $10 million, but they said she was suing for $10 million, giving her like $483 million, right? They're saying just to bankrupt Trump, and Trump is a part of this too, man. Everybody that I'm gonna talk about today is a part of the cabal, bro. Even Michael Jackson, right? But I believe Michael Jackson had to get sacrificed because he was a 50-year-old virgin, which come on. All right, so yeah, Michael Jackson had connections to Biggie Smalls, right? Come to find out, Prince got connections to Tupac. Tupac did one of Prince's songs, right? Prince had a song called Pop Life, P-O-P Life. And Pac did a song called Pac's Life. He did a whole album called Pac's Life. This is posthumously, I mean, after he died. But you know, just showing how they'll make connections just based on really Freemasonry, right? Because Biggie was the cool one, right? And Tupac was the hothead. So Biggie being the cool one represents the moon. Pac being a red hothead represents the sun. Michael Jackson, like I said, he moonwalked. The moonwalk. He he got connections to the moon. Prince with that electric guitar is connected to the sun. All right, he's a prince. He's not the king. He's the prince. So he would be technically the sun. All right. So there's there's always two pillars, right, holding up basically the firmament, right? So these two pillars, if they ever come together, will be destructions. Okay, so boom. And as you can see, over the two, this is Joachim and Boaz, and over the two pillars, there sits the moon, right? And there sits the sun, right? Now you go in the lodge and they teach you this stuff, but I can't remember the year. It was early 1900s. Rockefeller bought the school system, and he said he didn't want no intelligent population of Americans, right? So the whole goal of the school system is to dumb you down, all right? So you got to be, chosen or tapped to get information like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Freemason, I'm, but I got my birthright though. All right, so yeah, Prince, Michael Jackson, so-called beef, right? The electric one who played the electric guitar against Michael Jackson who moonwalked, you know. And then so let's get into it. Michael Jackson, born August 29th, 1958. He's the Virgo, right, in Gary, Indiana. Died June 25th. Now, June 25th, June is the 6th month. Then you got the 25, the 2 and 5, add that up. That'll be 7. So you got 6, 7. Anytime you see 6, 7. Matter of fact, let me just say this right quick. The State of the Union was on, I do believe, the 67th day of the year. All right. So that's Joe Biden giving a speech on the 67th day of the year. And now 67 is blood sacrifice, or it could be human sacrifice too. Blood or human sacrifice. So that's the number for 67. So, like I said, they don't do none of this stuff by accident, bro. None of this stuff by accident. All right. So Michael Jackson, they say that he died in Homley Hills, Los Angeles. All right. So Homley Hills, Los Angeles. Give us that 54, right? 54, 54. We know this is the number of the sun. Right. Big number for Catholics. President Biden gave the speech. The numerology for the day was 54 and 18. All right. The State of the Union address. All right. So, Michael Jackson, he got connections to Studio 54 when he was 19 years old. This is the first time he left uh Catherine and Joe, his mother and father, and his brothers. He went out on his own. He was 19 years old. He was going to go shoot the movie The Wiz, right? And Diana Ross took him to Studio 54. Michael Jackson kind of fell in love with Studio 54, right? But we know the 54 is for Catholic Church. So this was when they could get him away. They could finally got him away from his protection, which was his mother and his father. All right. So boom, 54. It's the 251st. I mean, what 251 is the 54th prime number. That's how you say it. And we've been talking about this number, right? That's why you got to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But don't go nowhere. I got plenty more today. So yeah, Homley Hills equaling 54. Michael Jackson, when he went to go shoot the movie The Wiz, Diana Ross was basically well, matter of fact, Diana Ross and Latoya Jackson, which Latoya is crazy as shit too. Uh, is supposed to be watching after him and stuff. So, and then he did the movie The Wiz. The Wiz is like a spinoff of Oz, The Wizard of Oz. And we was talking about the Wizard of Oz with Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl. So, it's kind of funny that I'm doing this video, and I've definitely seen some connections to the Super Bowl that just happened, but we're gonna try to keep it pushed. I'm trying to keep that out the way. I don't want to talk about the Super Bowl, right? So yeah, 54, that's that Catholic number, right? For the sun. These are the people who, basically worship the sun. All right, so this is when Michael Jackson got burnt up, right? And he went to Cedars-Sinai Hospital. Now, the cedars are the trees that lead to, well, not lead to, the closer you get to the North Pole, there's only gonna be a certain type of tree that you see because it's so, it gets real cold there. And that would be pine trees, right? So cedars are, you're gonna see a lot of cedars there. And Cedar Sinai. Now Sinai are really Mount Sin. This is a Bible story too about Moses. Moses would be like Moses, right? Moses coming down Mount Sinai. It's a mountain for the moon, because the moon used to be called sin. Yeah, here we go. Sin is considered a member of the special class of Mesopotamian gods called the Anunnaki, Nana in Sumerian, name for the moon god. All right, so this Mount Sin that Michael Jackson is the okay, quick. And this is Michael Jackson after the fire. Ambulance pulls up, and they got a familiar number on the ambulance. And when he dies, it's crazy because there's another number that's gonna pop up too. So yeah, there goes that 47. All right, 47. It's the opposite of 74, which 74 would be Muhammad, Jesus, cross. All these things equal 74, right? Which is 7 is a spiritual number. 4 is the man up, is the number of man. 4 is the number of man's mental. That's how man thinks in fours. That's why everything man builds it comes in fours, right? Nothing God builds comes comes with corners on it. A man will build a house and have corners in it. It's four. But when God builds things, he builds in sevens, right? 7 planets, 7 oceans, 7 continents, So when you see the 4 before the 7, you're trying to say that's the big battle. Is man versus God. Man think they could do it better than God, right? So 47, 74. Even if you look at the Freemasonic G, right? I don't know. The G in Freemason. Right, G is the 7th letter, and then it's surrounded by 4 sides. Right, so it's basically trapping the energy, the energy that we all got, right? The inner God. Now, if that G was outside, it'd be a good thing. When it's on the inside, it's not. These people want to strip every piece of God out of you. All right, so yeah, and the number 47 is connected to time too as well, and we know time is basically man-made, right? The Gregorian calendar that keeps track of time. 47. All right, so yeah, that's Michael Jackson going to the hospital. This is him arriving at Cedar site. So, matter of fact, we can get rid of this. So yeah, this at 47. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and go to it. I put up because I seen that This Is It just matched up so perfectly with it. Right, you see, This Is It. This was the last concert tour that Michael Jackson was gonna do, and it was ended up being a movie, basically a documentary about that tour. Right before Michael Jackson died. You can see that it equals 47. Also equals 41, which is the 13th prime. 13 is a magnetic number. Like I said, M is the 13th letter. It sits in the middle of the alphabet. If you ever go to your kids' school and they got the alphabet up there, you see it sits right in the middle. Mount Meru or Rupus Niagara or the North Pole sits right in the middle of Earth. And that's that magnetic energy. 13th prime. But let's go back because yeah, this is it. Also equals 47. Now, this is the poster for This Is It. This is another reason why I want video, because I seen the sacred geometry of what Michael Jackson was doing with this pose. I don't think, and you see the light behind, basically like a sun behind him. Then you got on this hat, which is like his crown. All right, he's making the symbol of the cross, but not any cross, not any cross. He's making the symbol of the broken cross, which will be the peace sign, right? But the broken cross is for the Antichrist. All right, so like man, all of this stuff ties to religion. I could do the OJ. Hold on, matter of fact, let me pull this up right quick, bro. Even OJ, the OJ Simpson trial and all that, the chase. Let's go chase OJ Simpson. This stuff is religious, bro. Think we still ain't got ties to religion? Shit, crazy. This is all these people do. All this stuff is scripted, right? But where's it scripted from? It's scripted from the scriptures, right? This is O.J. Simpson. He got ties to the number 61. 61 is Jesus Christ. If you type it out in gematria, right? And he's in a white Bronco, which will be a Bronco is a horse, so it's technically a white horse. This is Jesus in a white horse, and then you got black, white, red, and blue following him. So yeah, the white horse that the Antichrist is gonna come back on. Then you got the black, white, red, and blue for the four horsemen of the apocalypse. They cold with the storytelling, bro. They are cold with the storytelling, bro. And these are captivating events, right? This is the 90s, man. And this information couldn't get out like this, but these are huge stories, bro, from the 90s, and all of them got religious uh religious background to it, man. It's crazy. So yeah, this is what I thought was a crucifix at first, but I seen how high his hands was, and I said, "Oh no, that's the broken cross, right? That's actually the touchdown symbol, right? It's all good. Even the touchdown symbol is occultic, right? Uh, nut, get, and shoot, because that's the same symbol he's holding up. And like I said, this is another version of Jesus Christ's shoe, Yeshua, right? That's that symbol. Michael Jackson. This is called, sacred geometry. We're just looking at the geometry of things and the way they position it. Even numerology, it comes back to sacred geometry because they're symbols. It's all symbols, bro. Somebody just said the other day, we're slaves to symbols. But yeah, the broken cross for the Antichrist, right? Michael Jackson went from, even like the movie Clarence, the Book of Clarence, how in the movie, Jesus, the real Jesus in the movie, right, was black, and then they Jesus wanted to get away from persecution, so he get a white dude some power, and they end up persecuting him, and that end up being the former Jesus is in churches today, right? And Michael Jackson went from a black boy to becoming basically a white woman. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, here's I was gonna show you Mercator's map, but they don't want to pull it up. Here's Mercator's map. This is the four corners of the earth that they talk. I'm still talking about the North Pole. I'm still talking about what they would call Rupus Nigra, the ripple, right? This is where they get the symbolism from the Black Reaper. This is Saturn L, right? Saturn L controls time. Chronos. Chronos is like where we get the word chronological, right? Put stuff from history in a timely order, right? So this is Rupus Nigra, Mount Meru. This is that strong magnetic rock at the North Pole, and this would be the four corners of the earth that the Bible talk about. But you can see that it makes a cross, right? And this is truly where they get the cross from, all right, and Hitler's swastika too, same thing. All right, so yeah, like I said, they turned Michael Jackson into you know a white man, and then he dies. I mean, he get charges, right, in Santa Barbara, right? Santa, Satan, Saturn, basically all the same thing. All right, now this is getting closer to Michael Jackson's death, right? Now here's the ambulance that picked up Michael Jackson. They say this guy, I forget the doctor's name. All right, the ambulance is. I didn't know it was gonna be this many pictures of the ambulance with the number just clearly on it. Right, 71. This is another reason why I want to do the video because I just seen, and they do this a lot when celebrities die. That ambulance that come pick them up, just like George Floyd. Should I do it? I probably ain't gonna be able to do it real fast, so we're gonna skip that. George Floyd, when he got picked up, it was the police cruiser had a number of 083, and 83 is murder by numbers. All right, I ain't gonna be able to do it. 8338, murder by numbers. They do it a lot, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. It's number magic, the number code. All right, where we at? Just keep it pushing. So yeah, this is I believe it's called the Bel Air, right? The Bel Air Fire Department. So first thing you need to know is Bel is basically Baal, right? Then you had the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Remember when he walked up and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock? That was theater. That was theater. And theater, it starts with THE, right? If you want to study God or study religion, you'll go take a theology class, which the it stands for God, right? And like in Spanish, it would be El, right? So El would be God, the is God for Anglo-Saxon speaking folks, right? English speaking folks. So the and El is interchangeable for God, right? So the theater is the God show. All right, that's what I'm saying. This and the script comes from the scriptures. All right, so Baal Air is Baal, right? Air, I didn't put this up here, but the air symbol. There's the L symbol, air symbol. You can see that it's a pyramid with a line through it. That's the same as the damn dollar, right? Same as the dollar with the I on top of the pyramid, right? So yeah, even and I do believe, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it, but it is connected to the devil because they say the devil rules the air. But I'm gonna have to find that somewhere else. Okay. But let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. I got a lot more to get to, man. So yeah. The number 71 that's on this ambulance, right? Hell is 71, right? I think it was last summer. I was doing a few videos. I do remember doing one video about this hell on earth symbolism they had going on, with all these fires and the video game Diablo 4 came out, and it was some more stuff I can't remember right now, but yeah, it was a lot of hell on earth symbolism going on. But yeah, I do remember hell was 71, right? Just like Catholic is 71. Society of Jesus 71. All right, greatest of all time, right? Like there's been a lot of talk about the greatest of all time, man. The GOAT, right? I just showed like the GOAT is the fucking, excuse my language. The GOAT is the Baphomet, man. So this is why this is in the talks on social media and on TV and in sports. Everybody want to know about who is the GOAT, right? The greatest of all time, right? And that's why they keep on bringing up GOAT, GOAT, GOAT. And, when I graduated high school, I, I can, I'm pretty sure there was no transgenders who graduated high school with me. Now, you go to graduation now, it's a little different, right? This stuff is not, they're pushing culture, but they do it very slowly. They do it very slowly, bro. Now we just talk about Prince, right? Prince died on April 21st. All right, that's 71. The Queen died. This is her birthday too. Queen Elizabeth, her birthday is April 21st. This is also Prince's death day. The Queen died on September 8th. Okay. And here's a little article. This was Michael Jackson's biggest nemesis, right? Queen Elizabeth was celebrating her 90th birthday, which fell on the same day as a musician's death. Who was that? Right. So everybody thought that they did Niagara Falls purple for Prince, but no, they came out and said they had been planning on doing it. All right, because Prince wasn't even dead when they did it. They had been planning on doing it, and it was for Queen Elizabeth's death. And then there's other articles that talk about conspiracy theorists, and they're calling us nuts for making a connection. Said the tinfoil hat is for people who's paying attention, right? And in the army, they say a tin, it's a tin hat. Pay attention. A lot ain't paying attention. There's a lot of distractions to keep you from paying attention. I give you that, but nah, man. Tin hat is for you to Pay attention, right? So you can be connected to the source, right? And now they're trying to replace the source with AI, which is, it's gonna be crazy. And all these people are scared of AI, but if you can think for yourself, you'll be smarter than I promise you, right? Or more intelligent than AI. Smart and intelligence are two different things, right? Yeah, Her Majesty turned 90 years old on Thursday, the same day the world was shocked by the sudden death of legendary Purple Rain musician Prince. Purple for royalty, right? And like I said before, Prince even made the song "I Would Die for You." So for being April and you being the 21st letter, he basically, we could say he predicted his death. But man, come on, y'all, come on, y'all. This stuff is This stuff is scripted, bro. This stuff is scripted. The game is rigged, son. The game is rigged, son. Come on, man. All right, so yeah, let's keep it pushing, man. Got more to get to. So this is Michael Jackson's death day to his birthday, total of 65 days. Here goes some Kobe Bryant numbers right here. Kobe Bryant's last game, he scored 60 points, right? He wore the number 24. Um, he died at 41, so I can't use the 42, but we'll get to that 41 when we talk about Peter Pan and Michael Jackson. But yeah, man, 65 days later, like I said, I believe he was a virgin when he died, man. Ritual sacrifice equals 65. Going back to him being at Studio 54, right? And this has been a big number, right? Big number of the Super Bowl was 54. They showed Taylor Swift for 54 seconds during the Super Bowl, right? That's that Catholic number. That's that sun number. Uh, I'm gonna get to Michael Jackson and Barack Obama too. Man, this is a lot. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just put this together like about an hour ago. So, matter of fact, it's been 2 hours now. But yeah, man, ritual sacrifice, 65, right? 65 days after before his birthday, he passes away. Right. That equals 251, 2. This is the 54th prime. And we would talk about that boxer, Ryan Garcia, who's quote unquote allegedly exposing the powers that be, the Illuminati, secret societies, whatever you want to call it, right? He could go 25-1 in this upcoming fight with Devin Haney. So something else to look out for, you know. And ritual human sacrifice would be 65 too as well. This past Super Bowl was on February 11th, 2/11. I forgot that 2/11. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. I got you. Hold on, wait a minute. 2/11 is the day Whitney Houston died. February 11th. I had this up here, bro. We good, we good. Yeah, February 11th. February 11th is the day Whitney Houston died. 2/11. She died in the bathtub. The moon is, they say, controls the oceans, which the oceans is water, right? Water is feminine. The moon is feminine. It all kind of makes sense, bro. But yeah, two legendary stars, bro. Got that ritual human sacrifice. If you type it out in the gematria. But I don't know if I want to deal with this or not, because we kind of already did. The crown of thorns, crown of horns. It's Michael Jackson wearing that hat. All right. And then, with this light behind. I mean, man, this to me this is kind of obvious, but to other people it might not be. But yeah, this sacred geometry is like, and then the hair too, man. Come on, it's just I don't want to say he's representing Jesus Christ because he got that it's that broken cross, so it would be the Antichrist. But then the Christ comes before Michael Jackson died. The Savior comes. We want change. Time for change. Obama, because Michael Jackson dies June 25th, 2009. Obama runs out 2000 and finally gets in office January 20th, 2009. All right. And he's the new savior. All right. So 2009 would basically be 29, just putting the 2 and the 9 together, leaving the zeros out. Pepsi would be 29. 29 is the 10th prime number, and we never say 10 in numerology. We never say 10. All right, say 10. Never say 10 in numerology. Michael Jackson's birthday is the 29th. There was a few more 29s in there too, but I just couldn't get everything because it's a lot. All right, so here Michael Jackson, who thought he was Peter Pan, he did a lot of childlike activities and childlike stuff. Would have young men over, young boys over. I had the name of the first young man that he met and had something that the media try to act like something was going on. I just think Mike was. I'm saying, I think Mike was a virgin and didn't really care about sex or having sex. I don't think them kids are his. And yeah, man, he thought he was Peter Pan, and which Peter Pan is connected to Disney. Michael Jackson is buried in a place called Forest Lawn Meadows, right? Same place Walt Disney's buried in too. Disney had a lot of subliminal stuff that they used to do in their movies, and you know, a lot of stuff to kind of mess with your mind too, especially for kids, man. It's crazy, right? So yeah, the name where Michael Jackson lived was called Neverland, right? And he thought he was Peter Pan. And then 2000, well, okay, yeah, hold on. 1993, there was a kid. Then in 2003, there was another kid. So 10 years later, we never say 10, right, in numerology. And he thought he was Peter Pan. And, I know one of the kids was 13 years old. Like I said, 41 is 13th prime. And I was trying to find out what Michael Jackson was doing at 41 years old, which would have been like the year 2000. But I couldn't really find nothing to back up. I couldn't really find out what he was doing. I don't know if he made an album or not, or was touring or was on trial, but apparently not, because the two trials was 10 years apart, 1993 to 2003. All right, with the 13-year-old boy. Got that up here too. Here we go. American pop musician Michael Jackson faced allegations of child sexual abuse in 1993 and 2003. Additional claims emerged posthumously in 1993. Evan Chandler, a dentist and a screenwriter based in Los Angeles, accused Michael Jackson of sexually abusing Chandler, 13-year-old son. Yeah, 13. In 2003, that's 2 and 3. This is the year LeBron came into the league. This is the year that Michael Jordan retired, right? And they both wore the number 23. Michael Jackson, M being the 13th letter, J being the 10th. Add that up, you get 23. And remember Jim Carrey did the movie called, it's a good numerology movie, right? It's a dumb movie, but I mean, if you want to watch it, Jim Carrey initials is JC, like Jesus Christ. He did the number 23. He did the movie number 23. And there is numerology in it, but it's just a hard movie to keep up with. And you know, they want to make Jim Carrey look crazy as shit in this movie because that's what they do to people who stumble upon this information. I'm not trying to scare you or nothing like that, but it just is what it is. Right? It is what it is. Michael Jackson and a 13-year-old boy. And for some reason that took me back to This Is It poster. I can't think why. And it took me back to the Broken Cross. Yeah, I can't think why. I don't know why I put that back up there. Yeah, my bad. The city of Los Angeles, Los Angeles, right? Is because we all well they say, right, angels bring messages, right? But if you look at a person's let's do this right quick. A natal chart. Let's get rid of free because I don't want no bullshit pop up. Boom, here goes a person's natal chart. So you get a good one. And as you can see, there's a lot of angles in the natal chart. And they say angels deliver messages, but also what they're really trying to say is angles deliver messages, right? Because you could check your natal chart, and I'm telling you, it be spot on, bruh. It be spot on, bruh. So yeah, man. This is Michael Jackson because he was a devout Jehovah's Witness. The whole family was. You know, seen with the praying hands. And a lot of people say that wasn't his real voice. His voice is way deeper than what he tried to make it be. You know, and they understand why he was doing that. But yeah, the older he got, the kind of farther away he got away from religion because they ended up doing some. You know, he wanted to have a birthday party for his mom, which he loved his mom to death. All right, Catherine. And you know, they would bend the rules a certain way because he did have to lie about his age. You know what I'm saying? He was 11 years old and had to say he was 9 years old, and he didn't want to lie. But they said if it's, you know, you're doing it for your image, so they talked him in the line. So they coached him into doing a lot of because man, I'm telling you, I don't know about the rest of his brothers, but he was a devout Jehovah's Witness, and he didn't want to do the things they was doing, bro. He thought, you know, sex was a sin and all this. He just really didn't want to have sex. So I can't even see him wanting to have sex with a little boy. And he ended up saying that he's not gay. You know, as a guy who used to report on him, he told him off record that he wasn't gay. And then the dude was like, "Well, why'd you tell me off record?" Because he didn't want to offend gay people. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it is what it is, man. Like I said, MJJ, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Michael Joseph Jackson. You know, Michael Jackson did the moonwalk. Michael Jordan, these legendary tennis shoes. What they thought was a basketball is actually a man petting the moon. Michael Jordan is connected to the moon. Hold on, matter of fact, MJ with the Wizards. You can see what's on his jersey. So you can know I'm not making this shit up. It's the moon. Matter of fact, come on, a wizard. Like I said, we control about wizards, witches, and warlocks. This is magic, y'all. This is magic. that's going on the TV. It's Magick. There go them initials, right? MJJ equaling that 33. And then Mount Meru, which is also Rufus Niagara, right? The Black Ripple. The Black Ripple for the Black Reaper. All right. You see that it's a 33 French mile size rock. 33 French miles wide. So 33 is for magnetism, bro. Both of them brothers dominated the 90s and the 80s. Right? And in the year 2000, it was time for a change. That's why they tore them buildings down the way they did, because now it's time for electricity to rule, right? That's why he's LeBron James, Bron James. Here go the moon, right? Apollo 11 traveled 237,000 miles. This was in the movie too, right? The movie was called The Shining, right? The room that the little boy went into, got his shirt kind of tore off in, was room 237, right? They say this is Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick directed this movie, and allegedly Stanley Kubrick recorded or manufactured, made up, just straight up lied to the American people about people going to the moon. The moon is nothing you can land on. I done said this before, right? You can see that even the carpet that this little boy's on looks like Apollo 11 launch pad. You know what I'm saying? So it's just connections everywhere, bruh. It's everywhere, bruh. Stanley Kubrick directed the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001: A Space Odyssey. What happened? What actually happened in 2001? See, 2001: A Space Odyssey. September 11th, 2001. 11. 11 is L even. The tires is shaped like an 11. L even for L the God, right? But he's the God of what? Electricity. L